get tired after 3.5 days of this? Not you. And not me. This is too much. All right, well, thank you very much. We'll get started today. Thank you guys very much for joining us. My name is Jake Smith, Director of Data Center Technologies. There's not a lot of us here. I would like it to be an interactive session. You know, we could just go through slides, and I don't think you'll get what you want out of that. So if you could move a little bit closer or at least be interactive, that would be fantastic. Again, my name is Jake Smith. I'm joined here by my dear colleague. Almost 2 decades now we've worked together, Chris Peters. He is the other half, I like to say, of the Intel Select Solutions team. The better half, the smarter half. I'm just here to try to make sure the technology actually works. So with that, I'd like to first of all thank Microsoft for inviting us here. I'd like to thank our Windows operating system team led by Andy Vargas, who's been an absolutely great partner from day one. I'd like to also thank Rachel Frick, wherever she may be. Oh, she's right there. Who was just an amazing marketing partner and collaborator. And then, of course, I'd like to thank one of my esteemed guests, but I'll thank him when he gets up here. Until then, Chris, why don't you talk about why we are driving business value from a modern cloud-ready platform?
Jake, thanks very much. Before we get into the content, I know Intel's been celebrating our 50th birthday, basically, and I think you are also celebrating a birthday today. Is that correct?
Wow, that's a heck of a call out. Yes, I am.
I think it's worth celebrating your birthday today.
Thank you. It's a very intimate audience, and that was a very big call out on you. And the thousands of people watching online, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here on my birthday. I truly, and those who know me closely know, I would never want to be anyplace else but talking about technology on my birthday. So thank you so much.
And Jake, I think I want to go for another first. I don't think there has ever been a time where people have sung happy birthday to someone at Ignite on stage. So I'd like to invite our entire audience. Let's sing happy birthday to Jake. I will start, but please don't let me do it alone.
You're killing me.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jake. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. That was very kind. Thank you all. That was very, very generous. Thank you.
Happy 25th birthday.
Thank you for the 23rd time.
Yes, Jake asked me to be unscripted, so I dealt it right back.
Wow.
So, want to talk and kick this off before we get into the technology. The question really is why? And that stems back to business. So why are we here? We're really to use technology to create value for our businesses. And right now, one of the things that is driving businesses around the world is digital transformation, the use of data, and driving this as a strategic tool and capability inside of our businesses. And the one thing that we see all around is how fast things are moving in the business and how fast businesses are changing. And the risks of not transforming and not keeping pace is being left at the side of the road. And there's lots of stats out there, but one of the ones that I continue to talk to and see that's pretty staggering is the average time that a company spends on the S&P 500. The beginning of this, not this decade, but 50, 60 years ago, it was 67 years. Today, it's about 15, right? So the rate of change and the rate of technology is driving that because the disruption and where people are from a business standpoint, seeing their competition, it's not their traditional competitors. It's from other industries. It's from smaller companies that are growing up that are taking advantage of digital as a capability. And we see that more and more organizations are over-investing in IT and IT transformation from a digital capability standpoint. And it manifests itself in the same types of technology trends we've seen for years. How do you do more with less? Drive efficiency, drive growth. How do you become more agile and efficient inside of your organization? How do you deliver new services? How do you deliver new capabilities? And how do you better meet the needs of your customers? And I know, Jake, one heart for you is security, right? So security is not an afterthought. It's actually an underpinning of this, and so we see that as well. So you want to talk a little bit about the kind of security as a business?
Well, security is not just it's not just the physical security, obviously. It's also not just providing basic digital security or security through, I like to say, encryption, okay? Security happens at so many different levels. And in a digital world, you have to not only secure, you have to protect, but as importantly, you have to be able to detect. And so that's one of the things that we feel really, really good about this program, is because now we're introducing so many new security features. Jeff Woolsey and Aaron Chappell talked about shielded VMs. For those who don't know what shielded VMs are, it provides the capability to protect your virtual machine even when your system gets hacked. And then you take it one step further and you look at Azure Confidential Cloud. It provides the ability to deliver secure enclaves so that you can even be, even if you have bad actors on the platform that you're unaware of, your secure enclaves provide even another level of security. So security is not it is security without compromise, because our customers have told us over and over again, Intel, we expect you to deliver performance gen over gen, and we expect you to deliver the security without compromise. And so that is a charter, and we are a security-first company, as our CEO did outline earlier this year.
And I think it really comes back to this business transformation, this digital transformation is underpinned by IT, right? So IT is that enabler. They're dealing with security issues, they're dealing with efficiencies, and it is the underlying technology and how do you deploy that. And I think that is another aspect of how dependent we are in business around IT. And IT is not just a support organization anymore, it actually becomes the lifeblood of this.
I think a great indicator of that, Chris, is the fact that when you look at even at Intel, Paula Tolliver, who is our current CIO at Intel, is a member of our executive management committee. That's really the first time that's happened to us in about 15 years. So you can see in the late 90s, the CIO became a partner with the CEO and the board of directors. Then there was about a 5 or 7 year gap there where that didn't seem to happen. Now it seems like the trend is going back, where the CIO and the CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer, are both members of the most senior executive staff of most corporations.
And it's a sign of the times changing and how IT is a strategic tool, and I think that manifests itself in organizational structures as well. But the other thing I think that makes this worrisome is, in spite of some of these positive trends, this stat is actually pretty interesting, is business leaders feel that more times out of not, their digital transformation issues are not moving fast enough, right? They're not meeting the needs of the business, and they're worried and concerned about this. And this really puts a challenge on the organizations, and one of the things that's at the heart of that is our aging technology infrastructure, right? So as the opportunities become more plentiful, and we'll talk about that more later and how fast things are moving, if we're not keeping pace, that legacy infrastructure starts to become a drag, right? From Navy days, an anchor, right? So maybe not be holding you still, but it certainly is slowing you down. And so we see these trends and this capability to take advantage of this is we have to break momentum of doing nothing.
Well, and nothing is an enemy of what? Right? Nothing is the enemy of progress. So if you do nothing, you cannot make progress. If you hope that your security issues will go away because you just hold on to that legacy software or hardware a couple years longer, nothing will really change. So what we found is that the average upgrade cycle went from 5 years to 7 years to almost 8 years. And that's very, very dangerous. In the last 8 years, as an example, we have introduced 4 new compute platforms, each new compute platform coming with at least 3 to 5 new security technologies. In the 7 to 8 years that IT departments have not upgraded their infrastructure, they are now exposed to what the FireEye CEO said this morning, 80% of the bad actors in the world. And 80% of the bad actors in the world, according to the CEO of FireEye, are nation states. It's very dangerous. If you don't upgrade, you are literally allowing your business, your IT infrastructure, and your data to be put in the hands of others.
I think this slide really, and some of these stats, reinforce that point, Jake, right? Is the productivity loss from older infrastructure oftentimes is not manifested in slower performance, which it is, but it's manifest in the time you're spending maintaining that infrastructure and the costs of that, or the costs of dealing with security issues or dealing with that. Because once you're detecting it, how do you address that is extremely costly piece. So being proactive can have a very solid piece of productivity advantage on you. So you're spending your time much more positively in managing innovation and transformation inside the business and spending less of your resources managing infrastructure and capabilities.
Well, you also can't take advantage of all of the great Microsoft tools that are out there. So the biggest one for me is that all of the Microsoft tools, whether they're hybrid cloud solutions, which we'll talk about in a minute, or they're on Azure, all of those new tools run on the latest hardware. And you can't use those security tools if you're trying to go back to the Nehalem architecture of Xeon from 2009. You know, Westmere isn't going to get you over the hump. Sandy Bridge is only going to get you part of the way there. You need to upgrade to the latest technology that Microsoft has built so many wonderful tools around, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Before we move off the slide, though, I think the other thing that underpins this is how fast data is growing across the world, right? So I think you shared this data point with me a couple weeks ago. Is 90% of the world's data has been created in the last 2 years. Right? Where is that data sitting? Right? It's most likely in siloed infrastructure. It's not being taken advantage of. It's not being utilized. Right? It's hard to get at the data. And how do you put a lens around that? One of the things that Intel is we start to shift ourselves as a company. We're moving from a PC company to a data-centric company. And how do we use the tools in our portfolio and the ecosystem partners we have to help people move faster, store more, and process everything to be able to deliver those capabilities back to their business. And it really starts with a portfolio of technologies and capabilities, but then it's how it gets delivered. And I think some of those pain points gets identified in, if you're not doing that, you actually start to hinder yourself from your network speeds, from your ability to get it stored, your ability to effectively store all that data cost effectively, really start to hinder the capability of your business.
I had a great conversation. The beauty of being at Ignite is you have a conversation with customers. You get to meet with customers all the time. I met with a customer who's deploying a hyper-converged environment. His company just merged with another. They're going to be 800 stores. They have to upgrade their entire infrastructure. And his number one issue, how do I make progress migrating the legacy data infrastructure to a new hyper-converged infrastructure? Thankfully, we're here at Ignite. We've worked with a great partner, and they have great tools. So without further ado, I would like to bring up Jeff Woolsey, who is the product marketing principal of Windows Server. Come on up, Jeff.
Let me fix that real quickly. I'm not in marketing in any way, shape, or form.
Oh. He's not. I'm
on the engineering side.
He's the engineering side. I apologize. But he is the principal PM for Windows Server. I did get that right, didn't I?
You did.
Thank you. He's also someone who I have worked with closely for the last decade on Windows Server technology. So we're going to talk a little bit about what makes the Microsoft-Intel relationship so important. So with that, Jeff, why don't you talk a little bit about some of the things that we've done?
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jake. It's really a pleasure to be here. So the history of Microsoft and Intel goes back, wow, decades. I mean, yeah, a lot of people look at NT4, but it goes way back.
Almost as old as me, 24 plus years.
It goes even farther. And the history of the Microsoft and Intel, it's a long-standing, celebrated partnership. Goes back to the dawn of computing. I mean, when you really think about it. And we have made some tremendous inroads. Now, if I stick specifically with server, NT really was a watershed moment. Yeah, we had 3.1 and N3, but Windows NT for workstation and server was the real coming out party. Well, it's all of a sudden a server became easy to use. It was, we talk about this very often within Microsoft. Before NT4, servers were the vanguard of the high priests and priestesses, of mainframes. And all of a sudden, Intel and Microsoft said, no, everybody can actually have a server. Guess what? You can actually take a server and you can actually have this in your back office. You can have print servers and file servers and fax servers and all these crazy things. And in fact, to this day, file servers continue to be the #1 reason why someone deploys a server. because I need to share data with information and I want it to be easy to use. And now we're adding all of these other things like cloud and more to it. But NT was, a big watershed moment for us because all of a sudden everyone could do it. And then we moved to the world of, guess what? We went to SMP servers. And I'm not talking cores or threads. I mean 2 sockets with 2 cores.
Symmetrical multiprocessing.
Yes, SMP servers. It was a big deal. Oh my gosh, I've got a server with 2 processors in it. And that was a big deal. But we continue to push forward. And I remember buying a 4-socket server. I mean, I think it was like 15 grand at the time. Ooh. 4 sockets, again, no hyperthreads, no cores, 4 sockets. Okay, and that was a big deal. And then all of a sudden we got to this world where, guess what? We continue to innovate, we continue to refine. We saw the dawn of virtualization, and all of a sudden now we have x64. And you mentioned Nehalem. To me, I remember when I was chatting with Jake a few months about this, and I said, Nehalem was really a watershed moment for a lot of reasons. Number one, all of a sudden we had multiple cores. We had the memory controller on the processor, which really unleashed performance in that way. You added a whole bunch of virtualization extensions to the processor. Up until then, we had to do a lot of things in software called shadow page tables just to manage all of the address, super technical stuff. But just to make virtualization even work, we had to hack it, okay, essentially. And Intel, we worked with them. We said, this is what we need. They said, this is how we can give it to you in hardware and make it really, really fast. And that was a huge moment for us, extended page tables in Nehalem.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun.
Yes.
And it changed and transformed the way virtualization was thought of.
Absolutely.
No longer was it just 2 virtual machines per server or per socket. It became 4, 6,
Yes.
8, and even today, it's...
Oh yeah, well, but what's interesting was once we unleashed this in the processor, then all of a sudden, then we started looking at the rest of the bottlenecks in the system. Because x64 gave us the big thing we needed, which was we needed a lot of memory. And I kind of laugh because, 2008, a big server had 16 gigs of RAM in it. 32 gigs of RAM in a server, that's crazy. My laptop has that today, okay? I have 32 gigs of RAM in my laptop, okay? And that was huge for a server at the time. Well, now that we've unleashed 64-bit processors and all this memory, all of a sudden I'm running more virtual machines, I'm driving up my utilization. Guess what? Storage is now a bottleneck. Oh, I can't get things to the VMs fast enough because I got these spinning disks in there. The network is way too slow because I've got, heaven forbid, 100 megabit or a couple gigabit NICs in there. So that's too slow. And all of a sudden, it just, okay, now we go fix the next bottleneck. And so we work on the platform, we add more PCI lanes, we add wider PCI lanes, we do more there, we add more memory, more controllers, we add increased capabilities into the processors. Now we got multiple cores and we got multiple threads and we continue, and this tight innovation continues to drive up performance and the platform gets better and better and better. And the rising water helps everybody here. Then we get to 2016, and 2016 is the launch of really this hyper-converged revolution now. That's kind of what I've been seeing as people are saying, look, I've been doing the traditional thing. The traditional thing is I buy a whole bunch of servers, then I buy some dedicated storage, which means now I've got to buy, fiber channel switches and fiber channel SANs and fiber channel network adapters and all that, which is managed in a completely different way by a completely different set of people. And then I've got my networking, which is I've got gateways and firewalls and load balancers and multiplexers and all these things, and they're their own different devices. And then I've got standard top-of-rack switches. And that's how we've been doing it. And this whole move to hyperconverged is about, well, wait a minute. What if this was just all mainstream servers filled with lots and lots and lots and lots of super fast flash cores and memory, and the magic of software and standard Ethernet switches, and we can give you all of that with the magic of software and hyperconverged. And that's where we're seeing the growth right now. We've talked about we looked at the data, IDC, Gartner, everyone's saying, huge, massive double-digit growth in server revenue because people are buying these hyper-converged systems.
Correct. It's a triple-digit growth market.
Yes.
IDC predicts it to be $8.7 billion by 2022. We're certainly seeing that growth. We do not actually dispute the IDC forecast by any way because we're seeing that growth. But as importantly, it's a combination of choice. It is not just choice on-premise, it's choice in the cloud.
Yes.
So the ability to have a hybrid cloud solution where you can manage on-premise migration as well as in-cloud migration and back and forth has been transformative in the way our customers have had the ability to utilize this technology. But why do you think more people aren't jumping on board with the latest in HCI? What do you think keeps, I like to say, the laggards from leaping in.
You know, a lot of it is change with how you interact with the system. It's humans that are involved here. We've been used to doing things the traditional. I've got a traditional storage appliance. I've got traditional all of these things, and now we're kind of changing the paradigm to, well, guess what? We're giving you a management console that does all of these things in software, and it's a different way of doing things. And so humans, we're trying to deal with this change. Now, I will say, hyperconverged also has its place in terms of scale. If you're looking at 2 nodes, 4 nodes, 8 nodes, 16 nodes, hyperconverged is great. But I will also point out, when you get to like hundreds of nodes, that's when you go with the disaggregated fabric. And I have to remind people, when we talk about Azure, Azure is disaggregated fabric. We have nodes for compute and we have nodes for storage. Okay, it's not hyperconverged. You can't hyperconverge at that scale. Can be very problematic. And so it's great for 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. You want to do that? Great. You get into 100, 500, 1,000? No. You're going to go disaggregated. You're going to have separate compute nodes, and you're going to have separate storage nodes. The beauty of this is all of this just works in the platform we built together. And part of that is having the high-speed connectivity to reduce latency and drive up performance, things like RDMA, and having that in the platform, having high-speed flash, and the work we're doing together around Apache Pass and these forthcoming systems to actually bring flash closer and closer to the processor. Because as we do that, we are really reducing latency and driving up performance.
Well, you know, I always talk about latency free, and for those of you who don't know, I am a person who spent my entire career trying to reduce latency in Intel architecture at every turn of the crank. And Jeff has been a partner throughout. But there's another reason why we have an urgency here to move customers to the newest platform.
Oh,
so
yeah.
what is that urgency?
And that urgency is absolutely about end of support. And it's been, you know, we've been talking about this quite a bit this week, and it hasn't been a surprise because, quite honestly, we told people 2 full years in advance. I watched this closely with 2003, the last server that went end of support. We gave people about a year and a half notice, and the big feedback was, that's not enough time. If you're going to end of support something, give us more time. So I told the team, and we made sure we messaged 2 years out from end of support. We started telling people, and the response was, thank you for giving us a good heads up. So we have 2 things coming. Number 1 is SQL Server 2008 and 2008 R2. We have a very large install base on this version of SQL Server. That ends in July 9th, 2019. And there is no better time to be moving that forward, because if you are running SQL Server 2008 and 2008 R2, there's a very good chance you're running this on very old hardware, probably compute limited, probably memory limited, probably running on spinning disks. So SQL is, you know, it was fine in the day, but you're going to get easily a 10x, if not way more bigger performance improvement.
Or as Vaishali would say, a 12.2x.
Well, we'll get to that. And then, of course, we've got Windows Server 2008 R2 and 2008. So this is another one. About 50% of the install base for Windows Server is on 2008 R2. It's an extremely popular OS. We get it. But at the same time, we also have to tell everyone it was a great OS. I know. I was right there at ground zero working on it. It's a fantastic OS in its day. That day was 10 years ago. That day is not right now, okay? I would not be telling people, hey, let's go install 2008 R2. And another big message I want to be super clear about, and Jake's already discussed it, but the last thing I want to see is someone goes out and buys a brand new Intel server, brand new select solution, and puts 2008 R2 on it. You're not going to take advantage of any of that great work that they've done in hardware. And the reverse is true as well. I don't want you buying brand new 2019 and sticking us on your 10-year-old server, because you're not going to have the hardware that we need to do what we need to do for security and platform and performance and scalability as well. So these are 2 big dates for us. And we are telling everyone, honestly, you need to be on a seek and destroy mission. If you see if it has 2008 in the title, whatever the product is, SQL, Windows Server, we got to move you. We got to get you onto a modern, secure platform.
And we have to do it by 2020. So the point is, and we're overemphasizing this, and we'll overemphasize this over and over again until the date happens, is that Intel and Microsoft are committed to helping you modernize and getting off of that end of support. But Chris, there's other issues associated with end of support that customers need to think about.
That was good.
Pick a microphone, any
And
microphone.
it goes back to, we talked a little bit about the risks of old hardware. right? But the risks of old software is some of the things that I know you're going to talk about here in the details is the functionality, capabilities that have been advanced with every generation of release of new software coming, and the security benefits in those, and being able to take advantage of that. So this is, again, shows the downside risk as opposed to the upside opportunity, which I think we should talk about in the next slide. But again, you get to higher maintenance costs. The same things we see with old hardware, you see with old software. So again, not to belabor the point, let's move to the next slide, which really I think talks about.
Get to the next one. I'm dying to get to this one. This is the one I've been waiting for this one for a long time.
We only worked on this for a couple of days.
There are so many benefits here. I'm sorry that the slide is the text is so small, but you can see just how many benefits there are when you compare a platform, whether it was running Server 2008 or even Server 2012 R2. Okay, if you compare that to a modern Windows Server 2016 and 2019, there's really no comparison. So take a look at the moment for the hardware scale. 2012 R2, the maximum hardware we supported at 4 terabytes of RAM and 320 logical processors. Now, for a lot of people, they may go, that's not a big deal. Well, we support in 2016 and 2019 up to 24 terabytes of RAM. That's not disk, that's RAM in the system, is up to 512 logical processors. And the reason why we support that, by the way, I get that asked all the time, is, Jeff, how many people ask for that? Very few, actually. The reason why it's in there is because Azure needed it. You'll notice between 2012 and 2016 was a big jump because I went to the Azure team and I said, "What do you guys need?" I'm not sure. No customers are asking for much larger than 2012, and they said, "Oh no, Jeff, we run the biggest workloads on planet Earth. I want you to go find the biggest server shipping on Earth, and whatever that is, support it." Okay, that's it. And that's 24 terabytes of RAM and 512 logical processors. Then, at the same time, they said, and by the way, while you're working on it, we need you to support the biggest, baddest VMs known to man, which is why we have VMs that support, that's not a typo, 12 terabytes of RAM per VM. Per VM. And the reason why is because Azure offers these. So if you want to run big scale-up workloads, big databases, big SQL, big SAP HANA, guess what? The best place to do it is on Windows Server. And of course, this is all supported up in Azure. And up to 240 virtual processors per VM. So those numbers are monstrous numbers. And this allows us to take advantage of the massively rising core counts in the latest Intel Xeon Scalable solutions.
Well, and in the latest, we've now gone from 8 cores all the way up to 28 cores. We've added AVX-512.
28 cores.
Per socket.
I'll take that, please.
Yes, and as we add Intel Optane data center persistent memory, we'll be able to go up to 3 terabytes per socket.
Per socket.
28 cores, 3 terabytes, AVX-512, new security instructions, new advanced encryptions, next generation instructions, lots of other features, not to mention increased and lower latency in all of our virtualization technologies. So we're reducing latencies gen over gen almost 4x.
And the reason why the memory support is so important is when you start getting to these higher core counts, you got to be able to feed those cores work, and you need a lot of RAM to do it. Otherwise, you can have cores just sitting around waiting for stuff to do because, hey, guess what? You didn't actually populate it with enough memory. And so thrilled to see these massive memory support now in these systems. The other thing I want to point out real quick is the security aspect. So the work that we've been doing, we've been talking a little about security. Shielded VMs, a lot of these platform capabilities require platform support. We need TPM, we need UEFI, we need secure boot. There's a whole bunch of things that we need enabled in the hardware to make shielded VMs a reality. And it's really simple. With a shielded VM, a VM is a black box, okay? And I can basically say this shielded VM, it can only run on this server or this rack of servers. So even if the bad guy, Edward Snowden, breaks into your data center, copies it onto a USB stick and takes it home, he can't start it up, he can't turn it on, he can't mount it, he can't get inside it. Why? Because when this VM turns on, this VM can't turn on because it doesn't have the keys to even decrypt. Because a shielded VM, the very first thing it does is it says, I'm a shielded VM, hand me my keys. Nobody's going to give it the keys. And the keys will only run in a known healthy host. And the way we get that is through attestation, via TPMs, and all the security work we're doing on the platform.
Which is why we emphasize TPMs. And so this is why it's really, really important when we talk about the upgrade path that our customers need to take. You talked about it earlier. It's insufficient to do nothing. Okay? Do nothing means that you're putting your entire organization at risk. Whether you're a profit-generating organization or not, you've put your organization at risk. A software-only upgrade path, insufficient. A hardware-only upgrade path, insufficient. What is the sufficient path for both?
You got to do them both. You really do. You really have to do them both. Hardware needs software. The software needs hardware. Look, it's like chocolate and peanut butter, okay? They go great together. You really need them both because they both have dependencies on each other. And it's processor, it's platform, it's security capabilities in both locations that feed off each other to deliver the best, highest performing, reliable, and secure solution.
But there are business benefits.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's talk about that. What are some of the business benefits that we see?
Thank you, Jeff. So, Jake. Yeah, I think we talked earlier about the businesses that are left on the side that aren't digitizing and going to digital transformation, but the benefits of going into a modern IT give you the opportunity to realize some of the business benefits for revenue growth, better margins, better capabilities, better services, which ultimately turn to both top line and bottom line growth, avoiding some of the cost advantages or disadvantages of maintaining an older and aging infrastructure. So, Jeff, thank you very much for joining us.
I very much appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jake, very much.
It's been a lifelong friendship, my friend. I hope it continues because, as they say, when the performance is this good, why would it stop?
So, Jake, let's transition now. I think one of the things that we've set up is how do we accomplish this? Now we have the need, the imperative moving forward. But the question is, how do we take advantage, the next slide, of these capabilities? And we look at the amount of rate of pace of change. We saw that on Jeff's slide where the frequency and cadence is increasing. And we look ahead right now and you look at the breadth of Intel technology, networking, storage, compute, processors. You look at the breadth of the portfolio Microsoft is bringing with Azure Stack, with Windows Server 17 and SQL Server and Windows Server 16 moving to 19. The big question is, how do you put this together efficiently, effectively, to go from that lower left to that upper right quadrant as efficiently, as quickly as possible? And that really comes together as how do you put hardware and software together for solutions. And what we really have been thinking about and started launching last year is this concept called Intel Select Solutions. And what this was, go to the next slide please, is how do we take advantage of the deep Intel silicon capability? How do we take advantage of working in partnership with software optimization and bringing hardware and software together in configurations that have been tested, proven, and verified with a deep engineering commitment across the ecosystem between Intel and Microsoft, and aimed at those workloads that are incredibly important that we're running our businesses on today, or we see high growth opportunities like the hyperconverged infrastructure that Jeff mentioned, right? And are typically very difficult and time consuming for IT organizations to figure out on their own, or the ecosystem for that matter, to figure out on their own. Because everyone is trying to climb the chain to digital transformation and services from a value add standpoint. So we thought, well, what can Intel do with this? And so we launched this program to build these infrastructure capabilities, these solutions that we call reference designs, and document them from the ecosystem. And Jake, I know your team is deeply involved with development of those reference designs. Can you talk a little bit about the methodology we're applying?
Would love to. So we spend probably 7 or 8 months on every select solution, working very closely with Microsoft to ensure that we are optimizing each and every portion. For those of you who are deploying Project Honolulu, you've taken advantage of those capabilities. All the telemetry that you see is a reflection of those optimizations that we worked with Jeff and his team. How does that actually end up in performance in your shop? We then run that in benchmarks, where we benchmark our components and the components that Microsoft recommends at the highest level. And we push that very, very hard to ensure that we can deliver a level of performance that when you purchase an Intel Select solution, you have a baseline performance level that you receive, and you can in fact buy an enhanced or plus version of Intel Select solution that will deliver a 30% or better performance increase over the base version of Select solution. And then we provide peer review across the industry. We don't do this on our own and say, yeah, it's just marketing. Look at the documentation. We provide full documentation on how to configure, how to create performance, and how to replicate the performance that we created. Every one of the select solutions has full documentation on how to configure and how to deliver the baseline performance of a select solution, and you can actually tweak each and every select solution, deliver even enhanced performance beyond that.
We always choose the same technology in each solution. Is it the same across the board?
No, we won't. And we won't because Jeff won't let us, number one. And number two, we won't because it doesn't make sense. So earlier today, we announced earlier Tuesday, we announced a record number using a technology known as Intel Data Center Persistent Memory. It was a 13.798 million IOPS. Okay, that included using Intel Optane technology. It's the highest level of performance that we have ever seen with a hyperconverged solutions with Windows storage spaces direct. That is the high end of the extreme. Okay, not every customer is going to need 13 million IOPS to run their SQL Server environment, to run their Office 365. We have that capability. As Jeff pointed out, Azure's requesting it, so we're capable of building it. However, we give you the configuration details so that you'll know to configure your systems to the level that you need to. And that full documentation allows you to do that. Okay, I don't necessarily need 32 NVMe drives at 8 terabytes each. I might need 24. I might not necessarily need 512 gigabytes of memory per socket. Maybe I need a different little combination. Maybe I need a different way of interleaving that memory to deliver performance. All of that is available in the documentation of a select solution so that when you work very closely with our OEM and our channel partners, you know you're getting a fully documented, fully validated, and verified solution.
Great, thanks, Jake. And I think when we look at what a select solution is, it is a premium infrastructure configuration that is built for a particular workload, right? So it's not one size fits all. It's very uniquely tuned. We actually choose the benchmark in partnership with Microsoft or with the ISV so that it's not just Intel picking what's going to work for our stuff and showcase ours, but what really is going to make this workload shine.
And the best part is you can see this all on the floor today at Ignite.
Yes. Yep. And the key thing from an end user benefit standpoint, what we're trying to achieve is how do we accelerate time to market, accelerate time to innovation, and accelerate that time to growth and business transformation. And that's done through reducing the time we're spending evaluating, right? The work that we're doing between Intel, Microsoft, and then the OEMs who we ask to meet or exceed this recipe. So again, they have a tremendous amount of engagement, innovation, and technology at the systems level and solutions level. We want them to add on top of this. We ask them to do is to follow the recipe and meet the minimum standards that we're doing for the industry. And therefore, because we built it, we've tested it, and we verified it, we know how to deploy it. Therefore, the less time guessing or less time trying to figure out what to deploy, what to choose, less time trying to figure out what to deploy, and knowing that it's going to work inside your infrastructure ahead of time. And what this does is it starts to build an ecosystem capability that is, first of all, grounded in the validation work that the OEM does, the certification work that the ISV does, the verification of leading technology and performance from Intel, and then is often delivered, and we'll hear this later, by solution providers that are adding services and capabilities inside your business. So this is really a very collaborative brand as we go to market with this, and it's been very exciting for us to see some of the momentum grow just after 1 year.
Well, I'm so excited because we've delivered the performance. And, you know, like I said, it's my birthday. Love to talk about technology, but I like to talk about performance. And the reason I like to talk about performance is because you need performance to deliver solutions to your customers. And the joint solutions that we've developed with Microsoft are Windows Server 2016, Windows Server 2019, SQL Server 2017, and vNext, and Azure Stack. These select solutions provide us the capabilities to give you end users and IT departments and cloud deployers around the world the capabilities to know that there's a minimum performance level that you should expect, there's a minimum performance level that we will deliver, and there's a maximum opportunity for innovation. A good example we see on the show floor today is Fujitsu. Fujitsu has adopted the Windows Admin Center and taken all of that telemetry and capability integrated into their overall system structure to provide differentiation for their customers and allows them to build differentiation on top of Intel Select Solutions with Microsoft.
Absolutely. So let's move a little bit and discover what's inside the hyperconverged infrastructure for Windows Server software-defined storage. And Jeff mentioned this before, the amount of growth that we're seeing here and the amount of opportunity and why we're seeing it is pretty much because of cost, right? Dealing with all this data, how do you cost-effectively store it, manage it inside of your infrastructure? We're going to hear an example of a real-world customer that really has embraced this in later videos, so we want to keep moving to that point. But it's a tremendous opportunity from the business capability, and that's what's driving this growth for hyperconverged infrastructure. From a select solution standpoint, again, some of the ingredients you see on the very far left are scalable processors, our Intel SSDs and our Intel Optane SSDs, and in high-speed Ethernet, combined with the latest software capabilities from Microsoft with Windows Server 16 and very soon Windows Server 19 coming out. And you can see an example of the types of configs. And if you look deeply at these configs, you will find us use technology in different ways. So that on the base configuration, we're featuring our NVMe drives for the Intel SSDs. But in the plus configuration, to get that additional performance gain at a neutral price performance advantage, right? So we're not.
It's a minimum performance advantage over the base configuration of 30 to 40%.
Yep. And here, this is where we feature the Intel Optane SSD. So again, it's featuring the advanced technology as one of the ways to get to a higher performance result.
And it's not just the advanced technology, it's actually the work that we've done with partners as well that makes it also very compelling. The work that we've done with DataOn and Howard Lowe, I want to thank Howard Lowe and his team, and the work that we continue to do with Doug Fisher, Bev Crair, Kirk Skaugen, and the team at Lenovo is very exciting. And the emerging presence of Huawei has been very, very pleasing to both Microsoft and Intel as we begin to adopt these new premium and plus features. But the reason that we get these capabilities is because Windows 2019 comes with some really cool new features. We've got new virtualization capabilities. Obviously, we have new UEFI and security capabilities that Jeff talked about, but we have new networking capabilities. We've added RDMA, so now we have increased not only in performance, but we have direct memory mapping. We have new storage capabilities because we've not only added Optane SSDs, but we've added this new capability, this new feature, which we showcased called Intel Optane DC Persistent Memory, or Data Center Persistent Memory, which is a new memory architecture, not only delivering persistence, okay, but it actually delivers the capability to do memory and storage mode over time. So we actually are really excited about what these hyper-converged enhancements are bringing, and it allows us to say to you confidently, if you upgrade with your current architecture, the current shipping product, the Intel Xeon Scalable processor architecture family, if you upgrade, you can actually do in-place OS upgrades from Windows Server 2012 to R2 and Windows Server 2016. That is pretty impressive. You can take a 7-year-old software architecture and you can upgrade in the current environment, which gives you a lot of flexibility. And I didn't even talk about containers. I didn't even talk about integration with orchestration and server fabric and some of the other things, just because we're running out of time, and we do want to show how customers are taking advantage.
Absolutely. So this next slide is, again, these are the building blocks. So this is the new hardware capability. Jake just talked about the new software capability. Lots of tremendous power and capability, speeds and feeds and capabilities inside the compute, memory, networking, storage. I call this our, the pantry, right? These are the tools that we have available inside of our solutions. But really, when we start talking about how do you put together this hardware and software together, upgrading from that lower left quadrant to the upper right quadrant, the power and capability really does get featured in what does it look like inside the end user environment from a performance and capability standpoint.
Yeah, and it's also something that we want to alert all of our customers, partners, friends to, is that Intel is more than a CPU company. Yes, we've added 7x the number of cores, but as Jeff pointed out, we had to move beyond that. That wasn't enough. Okay. Yes, we could give a mesh architecture to get to 28 cores that allows us to add NUMA features that nobody else in the industry has. Yes, we can do that in the CPU. Yes, we can add security features and acceleration and virtualization and security. Absolutely. But that's no good without the memory capabilities, so we've added the memory capabilities. And yes, because you can add this caching capability with Optane DC persistent memory, yeah, we can show you unbelievable performance numbers, record-breaking, but that's not enough. So we had to add Optane data center SSDs as well. So now you can actually move to a tier of hot data that delivers performance time and time again. But that wasn't enough, because if you can't move that data from one server to another, or from your storage, your legacy storage infrastructure to your new storage infrastructure, how are you going to do that? And you need 10 gigabit and beyond Ethernet connectivity, and we're able to deliver that as well. So now we have a platform of Windows, a platform capable of running really any Windows environment on the planet that has reduced latency across 4 architectures, across compute, memory, storage, and networking. And I can't wait to show you about Fabric later.
All right, so this is my lower left to upper right quadrant, right? So you'd look at the old hardware, look at the old software, left-hand side, 20 servers, 4 racks. Then you move that into, how do we, new software, new hardware, capability to do the same level of capability and performance at 1/4 of the cost and infrastructure, right? So a 70% boost in the savings with respect to what it's costing you to manage and maintain this environment. Again, that frees up resources to go drive that innovation. So this is the proof point behind the lower left to upper right, hardware and software together, upgrading and the capability you have.
But you know, you get this innovation because you're delivering unprecedented performance. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Intel Optane technology. We use Optane technology as part of a joint relationship developed with Micron many, many years ago, a long-standing relationship of innovation and product development. But now we're delivering the lowest latency, highest QoS, highest endurance performance on the planet, up to 60 drive writes per day. I want to put that in perspective. If you have a 1.5 terabyte drive that's capable of 60 drive writes per day, you can write 75 terabytes of data every day for 5 years under warranty. Never been done before, folks. Every day for 5 years, 75 terabytes of drive writes. That's spectacular. That's what Optane gives us, and this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of a next generation of storage and memory infrastructure that removes bottlenecks and creates new layers of opportunity and options for our customers. But you know what? Enough. Let's let Cosmos, and for those of you who know Cosmos Darwin, you're very, very fortunate. I know I am. And I'm going to let Cosmos tell us all a little bit about what it means when all these solutions come together.
Organizations around the world are looking to hyper-converged infrastructure for their next wave of data center modernization. And there's no better way to go from Hyper-V to hyper-converged infrastructure than Windows Server 2019, which includes Hyper-V, Storage Spaces Direct, and software-defined networking, everything you need in one familiar product and license. But more than the affordable price or the familiar management tools, what customers tell us they really love most is the performance. 2 years ago, on this stage, we showed a demo of a single Storage Spaces Direct cluster providing Hyper-V virtual machines with nearly 6.7 million random IOPS, or storage operations per second. That was with Windows Server 2016 and hardware that's now 2 years old. Today, it's time to see if we can beat that record. The demo you're about to see is the result of a deep engineering collaboration between Microsoft and our friends at Intel, and it will show the very latest in storage innovation, Intel Optane DC persistent memory. You can be forgiven if you aren't familiar with Optane. It's pretty new stuff. An Optane module, like this one, goes in a DDR4 memory slot, but the storage it provides is persistent, meaning you can power down, power back up again, and the data you wrote is still there. And unlike regular RAM, Optane modules come in sizes up to 512 gigabytes. And this is fully, natively supported in Windows Server 2019, including with Storage Spaces Direct. The performance you can get out of one of these modules is pretty impressive, but what's more fun is an entire rack of them. It's actually a reference design that Intel and Microsoft have been working on together. 12 server nodes running Windows Server 2019, each packed with a future Intel Xeon Scalable processor, persistent memory, and NVMe. Let's take a look. We start on the new Windows Admin Center dashboard that's especially for hyper-converged infrastructure. Here we see an overview of the cluster. We have our 12 servers, our 72 drives, and over 300 Hyper-V virtual machines. They're turned off right now, but we'll come back to that in a minute. To round things out, we have 14 volumes, which give us nearly 100 terabytes of usable storage capacity. And you may have seen on the front photo, this environment's not even fully loaded. We actually have additional PCI slots and drive bays available for expansion. Let's look around a bit. Here are those 12 servers from Intel. And here are the 72 drives. We can group by type and see that we have 24 persistent memory devices, which we'll use for caching. Now, you may notice the size shows as 768 gigabytes, so how is that possible? Well, if we click in, you can see we're actually interleaving multiple physical modules together at the memory controller. Like I said, this is pretty new stuff. Going back, you can also see those 48 NVMe drives for capacity. And if you still think of flash as small, think again, because these NVMe SSDs are 8 terabytes each. Back on the dashboard, I want to introduce you to two charts. The first shows us the total cluster-wide number of IOPS that VMs are getting. And the second shows us I/O latency as measured by the file system in Windows. So this is not device latency. All right, it's time to get this show going. What do you folks think? Are you ready to see some awesome performance? Okay, one last thing. If I could just get an extra digit up there, perfect. So we have these 300 virtual machines that are all turned off. Each one, when it comes on, is going to run an open source Microsoft tool called disk speed to generate load. So what do you say we start turning them on? Let's start with just the VMs on node 1. As they come on, and we can time-lapse forward here, we can see the IOPS shoot through the tens and hundreds of thousands straight to 1 million. 1 million 4K random read IOPS just with the VMs on node 1. This system isn't even breaking a sweat. Let's turn on the VMs on node 2. You may start to see a pattern here. Those VMs are going to request another million IOPS, and they're going to get it. 2 million IOPS. All right, are you guys ready? I'm ready. Let's turn on the rest of the virtual machines. And as they come up, we'll go node by node. You'll see that no matter how many storage requests these VMs make, this hyper-converged cluster can satisfy it through 3, 4, 5 million, coming up on our previous record, 6 million IOPS, and continuing to increase through 7 million, 8 million, 9 million, and here's a big milestone, 10 million, 11, 12, 13 million IOPS. Folks, this is our new record and, we believe, the industry record for any hyper-converged platform. The pace of innovation here is really exciting. In just 2 years, we can do double the IOPS, and by the way, last time it took 16 servers. This time we only needed 12. And this is only the beginning. There is so much more in development for both Intel Optane DC persistent memory and Storage Spaces Direct. Thank you very much for counting IOPS in millions with me during this demo. On your way out, please be sure to grab your Count IOPS in Millions laptop sticker, and have an amazing week at Ignite. Back to you, Aaron.
Well, thank you, Cosmos. That's a wonderful video. And we just felt like it was important to show you guys because it's really difficult to help people understand, well, how did you get that performance level? And it is that deep engineering work. It is the time. And it is fantastic that we have such a great partnership that we can show it to you guys, and we want to make it available to you. And by the way, because we do peer review on everything, we're very open with all the documentation on how we got there. We're not afraid of that number. If anybody contests it, please come on forward. We'd love to show you how we got there. But how do we get there? Well, we get there because really it's about re-architecting the storage memory as well as how the software addresses storage memory. Traditionally, you think of it as DRAM. You start with DRAM and you scale as much there. Jeff talked about being excited to have 32 gigs of RAM available when we introduced Nehalem. Well, now we can introduce persistent memory capabilities, not only improving memory capacity, but it is actually a new programming model called PMFS or PMEM, depending on who you're talking to. And we worked very closely with Andy Rudolph and Jack Vargas on our team with the rest of the industry, the SNIA group, to create an industry standard. We created an industry standard that Microsoft endorsed, that Micron endorsed, that many people in the industry have endorsed, including all of our partners. This gives us the first generation of a new memory architecture to really change the way we view software programming models. We now add Optane data center SSDs, okay? And you saw some of those SSDs, okay? These SSDs are capable of huge capacities and amazing performance. 60 drive writes per day performance allows you to write over this drive over and over again, which is incredibly important, particularly when you're trying to run a database or other types of operations along those lines. And then you could take our 3D NAND SSDs. Cosmos reiterated 7.98 terabytes for an SSD. Yeah, that's our first version. We've got more coming. Okay, so we are adding massive capacity for the warm tier at the NVMe level, interfacing as close to the CPU as possible. So the performance will be consistent over time. And now you can add a huge, what we call efficient storage here in this 2 and 3D NAND space where you have really cheap storage and you can add huge capacities over and over again. And we do not believe that spinning rust, and I apologize if you're offended, but you need to take your spinning rust out of there, and I won't be, but we are still going to need hard disk drives. 90% of the world's data was created in the last 2 years. Many people have forecast that by 2025, every 9 to 13 weeks, we will be doubling the size of the internet today. Just want everybody to step back and put that in capacity. The internet today is roughly, depending on who you believe, between 47 and 48 yottabytes. It's not petabytes, it's not exabytes, it's not zettabytes, yottabytes. Okay, so we're talking about the capacity to generate between 200 and 250 yottabytes of data by 2025. This is an incredible number for us to think about. I always like to joke with my friends in the industry. I say, hey, we're 2 fabs short of a dozen. But it's not really a joke when you start talking about the capacity and the growth of information in our industry. But what's coming?
I think we're basically, when we talk about where we're going next year on select solutions and capability, is taking advantage of that.
You're not more excited than I am.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't think I can be.
No, you can't.
I never knew what a yottabyte was, so now I've learned something.
Oh, good.
Is we're going to be integrating in that Optane data center persistent memory technology in the next generation of our select solutions and the capabilities across this. And you'll see this theme across all the solutions that we're featuring here today, as well as the products that our ecosystem we're building up and around.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, about 2 years after Jeff and I worked together on Hyper-V, I was fortunate enough to begin the process of beginning to work on Optane DC persistent memory. And so many of the people in the crowd with us today, I want to call out Jack Vargas in particular, not because he's great, but because I care about him, but because he's awesome and he spent a lot of time trying to solve a very difficult issue. Okay, persistent memory is not easy. We have spent almost $15 billion, so we're clear. We have partnered with a great partner in Micron to bring it to market. And now we're both delivering next generation solutions here for Optane data center persistent memory. Obviously, we have a lead here that we are very excited about to show the industry. And the reason we're so excited is the performance. So talk a little bit about what that means in SQL.
Yeah, so again, SQL is the next solution that we have inside our portfolio with Microsoft. And I think there's some really interesting things here as we start thinking about the analytics. We're talking about the data, all around the data, and how do we take advantage of that for digital transformation. And there's 2 capabilities within, as I've been looking at and seeing the converge, is the online real-time processing of data, which is critical for transportation, airlines, manufacturing. How do you keep your database as you're ingesting all this information up to date in real time, right? Because if you're not up to date in real time, then you're making bad decisions on the data that you have. And as you're taking in this data, how are you using it more real time? So transaction processing. The other aspect that SQL is used for is how do you take the data that you have in storage and draw insights in that through the data warehousing capability. And as I've looked at it, especially at Ignite, learning that more and more, these 2 types of capabilities are converging. right? The goal is to be able to do real-time insights and get the insights that you can see to make decisions more real-time, whether that's at the edge from an IoT device or whether it's the data that you're ingesting inside of your data center and capabilities. And that is really where I see the roadmap going and what SQL is doing in our solutions today. So on our side of our portfolio for SQL, we actually have two very different workloads for online transaction processing and data warehousing with the goal to try to converge them as we go forward.
And we have a lot of partners who are working with us here as well, don't we, Chris?
Yes, we do. I think this is one of the first select solutions that we did launch with the Xeon Scalable products back last year in 2017. So you see a whole breadth of select solutions built on the SQL or solutions from the ecosystem and partners that are building on this. It also, I think, attests to the fact of analytics as a key foundational element inside of any of the businesses is seeing this. And so, again, across the board, Data On, Fujitsu, Lenovo, HPE, Quanta, Supermicro, and WeWin are already verified. We have a whole other suite of technology and capability partners that are continuing to build on this as we move forward. Very exciting.
It's so exciting because these are available right now. You can go down on the floor right now in the demo and you can see these solutions on the floor right now. It is not only exciting for that reason, but it's exciting because, gosh darn it, these are really transformative to the way businesses can be run. You can now begin to do not only just business inquiry, you can do advanced analytics, and now we can start doing machine learning, we can start doing artificial intelligence, and we're building on a portfolio of a modern data infrastructure capable of doing modern data analytics.
One of the things I think is interesting in this, and goes back to each solution is different, right? So on the hyperconverged infrastructure, it was a four-node cluster of servers. In the SQL, it's a two-socket building block, right? So clearly, as you need to add more transaction processing capabilities, you're adding more and more nodes. You're integrating that across your inside your infrastructure. So again, these are building blocks from the select solutions that are foundational elements to build on top of and around from the ecosystem standpoint as well.
And in the decade plus you and I have worked together, how many times have we been able to release a new platform that was delivering 12x performance gen over gen?
Not very often.
Very rarely. So not only that, we're delivering a consistent experience. And so I'm really excited about that because we're now a consistent experience from what you're deploying on-premise to also what you get to take advantage of in Azure. And that's really important because when we did early surveys, and I do I like to say the unofficial Jeff Woolsey survey, how many people in the cloud are going to do hybrid cloud, and 100% of the crowd raises their hand. The official data that we have is that 81% of enterprises around the world have a hybrid cloud strategy. The unofficial is, in a room full of 3,000 people, I saw 3 people raise their hand that said they had a cloud-only strategy. Okay. So hybrid is the model going forward, and having SQL be able to perform at the same level on-premise that it does in Azure is a very big deal. And we've also added a whole bunch of security, and that is another part that we probably spend not enough time talking about, but the new TDE capabilities along with our accelerated encryption capabilities have now provided the most secure database in the market. And if you add a shielded if you're running that database inside of a shielded VM, you even have another layer of security. But people don't actually realize what it means to have the performance. So we're going to do a benchmark, and I want to thank Vishali, who actually designed this benchmark, and Andy Vargas, and the Windows operating server team, because this is one of my favorite benchmarks. It'll be very apparent to you. This is a real benchmark. This is not syndicated. This is not synthetic. You can go down on the Ignite floor, sit down, talk to Vishali, and she will kick this off just like I'm going to run it right here. So to your left, you have a Windows Server 2008 R2 server featuring SQL Server 2008 R2, a sort of a typical client-server deployment environment. On your right, we have a Windows Server 2019 featuring SQL Server 2017. And I apologize to the SQL Server 2019 team because we weren't able to add SQL Server 2019 with Linux support to this particular benchmark. However, our benchmark is done. So if you are living in the past, you okay, Jeff?
I hadn't seen that.
So if you're living in 2008, you're still working. I hope you have a lot of food, maybe some extra Coke, slide a pizza under the drawer, because you're still at it. If you're living in today's modern infrastructure, you've been done now for about 10 seconds. Okay, so that allows you and frees up time to do other things. When you can run your queries, your shipping priorities, your shipping modes and order priorities, your discounted revenue calculations, your returned item reporting calculations, and your global sales opportunities, and your promotional effects, in that period of time, you can actually run your business in real time. You're not waiting. You don't have to wait 24 hours. You don't have to wait 48 hours. You don't have to wait 2 months. You're running your business in real time. And I can sit here and wait for this to end, but it's really going to take a long time. So I will just say this. If you upgrade and modernize today, we believe that you will consistently get 12x or better performance. You will have real-time opportunities to respond to customer problems. You will be able to monitor your business on a much simpler level. And as importantly, you will be able to do more transactions at a lower cost than ever before.
And again, I think we're going to continue to see this progress as we go forward to the next generation Windows SQL 19, which you mentioned. We haven't been able to do that benchmarking yet. We haven't been able to add the next generation Optane persistent memory technology. So we know these are going to continue to advance, but the opportunity now is ripe to be able to refresh.
We have a baseline. We have a baseline that we're comfortable with. We have a baseline that we're willing to share with the industry. Folks, we're willing to peer review anything that we do. And anything that we'll stand up here and talk about, we're willing to peer review, and our Microsoft friends are willing to help you and work with you to do that. And that's the one thing we want to be. We want to be transparent, we want to be open, and we want to be direct. So let's talk about we talked about the hybrid cloud a little bit, but this is really exciting. This is really exciting.
Absolutely, because I think what we've done now so far is talked about different workloads, right? Hyperconverged infrastructure, storage, SQL from an analytics standpoint. When I really start thinking about Azure Stack and hybrid cloud, it's about services and capabilities and how you're running your end-to-end environment inside the protection and data sovereignty of a private cloud, but getting the benefits of the access to a public cloud environment, which is really where we are with Azure Stack and where we're going there. From a DevOps standpoint to running services and capabilities in production, to some of the new capabilities at the edge from an IoT where Microsoft is going with this, it really does think to me the end-to-end solution and capability. And so again, the flexibility that we have inside an IT environment to be able to do this, and so you can manage that environment to your business needs, is really what I find extremely exciting about the Azure Stack solution and the capabilities that are coming forward here.
I couldn't agree more. And what's to me really exciting is that you see a new name here. It's exciting to me that we've added a new partner, Avanade, who is an extension of the Accenture family. Avanade is really a partner who we have reached out to, and they're embracing this select solution with Microsoft Azure Stack, and we're going full speed. Again, Quanta has joined Avanade in this pursuit, and we continue to work with them, as well as Lenovo, Huawei, and Wortman.
And I think this is the beginning of a trend that we've been seeing inside the select solution brand. I talked about this before, about the importance of solution providers and system integrators. And while we've been featuring a lot of our OEM partners, we're seeing natural business relationships exist in the industry and start to form around these solutions, because it's the value add, higher level to get to that business integration and business services. And so I think we're going to hear about that. I think our next video is to talk about how one of our customers, through Data On, actually was able to take advantage of a select solution on the hyper-converged infrastructure Windows Server software defined. So let's roll video.
Okay.
Youth Villages is a private, not-for-profit organization that works with emotionally troubled young people and their families. One of the challenges that we faced is we have expanded. We have an increasing number of young people that we work with in a given year. Those records become huge.
They were using an enterprise storage that was a proprietary. Those costs were increasing exponentially.
It's through solutions like Data On and Intel Select Solutions that have allowed us to have best-in-class IT infrastructure. We've had tremendous feedback from our staff about how the impact of that has been to make them more effective and more efficient.
Select Solution allows me to focus on the end goal, about the end application, about the solution I'm trying to provide, without having to get into all the details of every component.
The Intel Select Solution has provided the speed and capacity that allows our people out in the field that work with young people and their families to be able to use their end solutions more effectively. It provides great speed, and in the end, that allows them to be able to focus on what they're really there for, and that is to meet the needs of the young people and the families that we serve.
Pretty powerful. And instead of Jake and I talking about this, we actually have a very special treat. So Benjamin, who was featured in the video, worked with youth villages, is here to come talk and share some of his perspectives on the challenges and opportunities and key learning. So Benjamin, welcome.
Thank you. I didn't know if you all were going to fight over who's going to give me the mic.
Well, no, you get the mic, Ben.
Okay.
We're going to fight.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about how you got involved with youth villages and what they were trying to achieve.
Yeah, well, I've been working with youth villages for 23 plus years. So therefore we're involved in all sorts of aspects of, their strategy, their deployments, everything. And so they, of course, because they help these young people, these troubled children, they have to keep extensive medical records. They're reaching children all across the nation. They're 3,000 employees. And so medical records is a crucial part. Every person has to be looking at this, these stats, these kids, the progression of their treatment. And so we were just hitting a lot of bottlenecks just because of how many kids that we have to keep the records for over an extended amount of time. In some cases 17 years, and so these are all combining together, and the system is slowing down. And it's not just that, but we can't reuse the data like you're talking about. We can't reuse the data in a timely fashion. So it came to a time to take a look at our enterprise storage. We're using an enterprise SAN, and it got to this point of, do we continue to go and continue to try to expand,
build out.
Yeah. Or do we go to a new enterprise storage, or do we take advantage of the new S2D? And so I'd been really excited about the S2D for a while and watching that. And so that's how I got involved with DataOn.
Had you seen the use case for S2D deployed in other areas as well?
Yes. I first saw, people using storage spaces by itself. And so I was watching for S2D to become available, and I'd heard some other uses for it, but that's when I gave Howard at DataOn a call, and so that was my introduction to him. Just reaching out to him, and I was in the middle of looking at, again, an enterprise storage versus going with DataOn and the S2D solution, and the cost. It was a no-brainer. And so I had to do some due diligence. He let me talk to several customers that had gone with S2D that had deployed, quite a bit more than we deployed in terms of storage. And they had great things to say about how DataOn was using the Intel Select Solution to provide this, and in such a way that it's using a Microsoft platform that you're not concerned about, are they going to be gone in 2 years? Microsoft's probably going to be around for a while. Wouldn't you say, Jeff? Yeah. And, yeah.
Okay. So what were kind of the key learnings as you went through this transition at youth villages and DataOn? Some
of the key
learnings, challenges that you had to overcome?
Well, some of the key challenges is we were an early adopter, and that's how we got involved with some of your team. And so, one of the challenges as an early adopter is you have the software side designing something that kind of has not been done before. And then it's needing to rely on technologies like RDMA, which were pretty new as well. And talking about, the NVMEs were pretty new as well, because everything that the Microsoft software is stressing out because of the high performance, it's finding all those bottlenecks, like what you're talking about. You're seeing all these bottlenecks rise to the surface. And so now we're having to deal with new types of storage, new types of networking, and getting the software to interact with all those. So it was great to have Data On working with you guys to present this solution that at least we could have, well, okay, so it's not, these two parts. We can focus on what other potential areas.
Focus in on things that we're going to be working together.
Correct.
Versus continue to experiment and wasting time doing more
Correct.
experimentation. Okay.
Because as an MSP, you kind of go, oh, I can figure this stuff out. And so at first I was kind of looking at it, and absolutely not. I gave that up and said, I'm not going to build this myself. It's either going to be with Data On and Intel, or I'm going to go with a proprietary solution. And then I couldn't really get my customer to pay that much. They need to reinvest that money back into taking care of the kids.
So with that decision, did that give you an ability to kind of do more from a business value delivery standpoint to youth villages?
Absolutely,
Talk more about
absolutely. Because it allowed us to do the, at the time we did SSDs and NVMe caches in front of it. We were able to provide performance that we wouldn't have been able to do with an enterprise storage, proprietary enterprise storage, at a much cheaper cost, and therefore they would not have bought the capacity they needed to. They would have really gone down and just bought only the capacity for just the medical records database. But then what that gave us the ability to do is now we can take that data from that medical records database and replicate it into various other analytics, and we're able to use that data, 4 and 5 times where we couldn't have before, because we would have only moved just the database over to somebody's enterprise storage, proprietary enterprise storage, and left everything else on much slower performing storage that was cheaper.
That's great. So fast forward me to the end of the story. And so what kind of experience and capability did Youth Villages experience by going down this path with you and Select Solutions and Data On?
Well, I can't exactly provide the numbers, but we use some database analytics, a tool that measures basically the amount of weights that you have on the different pieces, the memory, the CPU, the storage. And when you're looking before you implement Data On a Select Solution using S2D, and you see these bars that you're weighting, literally this high, and then you can't really find them after you implement the solution. And you're having to use the mouse to mouse over it because it's so small. It's unbelievable when you're seeing that type of results. You think you're going to get excited about a 10-to-1 improvement, but when you see that and it blows 10-to-1 out of the water, that's when you get really excited.
That's great. Well, thank you very much, Benjamin. Appreciate the time.
Thank you for coming, Benjamin. Such an honor. The best part about doing our jobs and working with people like Benjamin and his team in Youth Villages is that we're serving people and we're helping humanity. And that's the best gift of all. In summary, we'd like to thank you all for coming. It's been our absolute honor. No better time to be at Ignite than on your birthday. No better partner than to be here than Jeff Woolsey. It's been a long time. It's been a great run, my friend. In summary, the world of business has changed, my friend.
Yes, it is. Faster than we can imagine.
Faster than we can imagine. Please be ready for the future. These technologies are real. They're not made up. They're peer-reviewed. They're not jingoistic, okay? We're not trying to sell you something. We're trying to tell you something. So please take advantage. This is a big moment in time, right? We've got the end of life coming for 2 core platforms that, by our best information, is roughly 20 million existing servers in the world that are running these. And they've got 18 to 24 months to find a new home. These are great solutions. We've got technology partners throughout the world, and we're delivering results. And I wish that you guys would take advantage of this opportunity, go out and use all of the tools that we have available to you, our customers.
Thank you very much, Jake. And again, thank you all for attending. The Intel booth, stop by. You can see some of this technology in place. Visit our partners through our treasure hunt. Connect with them. You'll see all of the great technology and business solutions available on the show floor at Ignite. And if you don't get a chance to visit the booths, check us out online. Thank you very much.
Have a great night.